उमापति महादेव की जय। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। प्रथमं सद्गुरुं वन्दे श्रीकृष्णं तदनन्तरं गुरु पापात्मनां त्राता श्रीकृष्णस्त्वमलात्मना बरहापीडं नटवरवपु कर्णयो कर्णिकारं बिभ्रद्वासः कनककपिशं वैजयन्तीं च मालां रन्ध्रान्वेनु रधरसुधया पूरयन् गोपवृन्दै वृन्दारण्यं स्वपदरमणं प्राविशद्गीतकीर्ति। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीं मष्टादशाध्यायिनी अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। नमोस्तु ते व्यास विशाल बुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायत पत्रनेत्रे येन त्वया भारत तैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमय प्रदीपः प्रपन्न पारिजाताय तोतवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दुग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भीष्मद्रोणतथा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्रावती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थाम विकर्ण घोर मकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरननदी कैवर्तकः केशवः। पारावर्षय च सरोजममलम् गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा संबोधना बोधितम् लोके सज्जन षट्पदै रह रह पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयात् भारत पंकजम कलिमल प्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुलंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्दरुद्रमरुतस्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैर्गायन्ति यं सामगः ध्यानावस्थित तद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। पवन सुत महावीर स्वामी की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। आदरणीय वंदनीय पूजनीय पंडित गण, विप्र मंडली, प्रिय सज्जनों, प्रिय भक्त समुदाय, महानुभाव, पहले सभी को राधे राधे, सीताराम और मेरा प्रणाम। आज भी इस पावन पर्व के अवसर पर चौथे दिन है, पितृपक्ष मनाने जा रहे हैं। इस अवसर पर भी आज भी रामू भैया उनके परिवार के साथ उनकी मां की स्मृति में गीता पाठ करने जा रहे हैं। हम सभी का परम सौभाग्य है गीता सुनाने के और गीता सुनने का, इस अवसर मिलने का। Most worshipable Pandits, devotees, dearest devotees of the Supreme Lord, the Divine Souls. First, let me say Radhe Radhe and Sitaram to everyone. And my pranam, my humblest prostrations to each and every one of you. Also, a very heartiest welcome, Radhe Radhe, and my naman, pranam to our viewers on social media, Facebook, YouTube, Bhakti TV, etc. Today, during this very auspicious time, I call this very auspicious, this time of Pitripaksh, where worship of the ancestors, the Pitris, are observed for 15 days, dedicated to them. During this time, we observe many rites, giving thanks to those who have come before us and helped us. We owe a debt to them in so many ways, in protecting the culture, etc. Today is the fourth day of this period of Pitripaksh. Our brother Ramu Bhaiya and his family in the memory of their mother, wanted to observe this day also. And so join in with our brother Ramu Bhaiya and his family, Vidya, etc., the whole family, in the memory of the mother. Today also we are going to do Gita Paath. It's a great blessing for us, for myself to be able to read Gita, to expound on Gita, this Bhagavad Gita, which is a divine song of Sri Krishna. Bhagavan, his words himself. And for us who would be listening also, who will look in and listening all over the world. So today my katha, this part we are going to do from the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Chhatve Adhyay. The 6th chapter of Gita delves with what is true spirituality, as opposed to pretending to practice spiritualism. What is the actual meaning and how to practice? Mostly in the world we practice physically, externally. Here in this chapter, Bhagavan Krishna outlines to Arjuna the real way of practicing bhakti, of practicing spirituality, and how it should be done and what should not be done, and the importance especially of the mind, the involvement of the mind, how important it is. So this chapter, 6th chapter, we're going to hear about that. As usual, as customary, we'll begin with Harinam Sankirtan, chanting the divine name of the Lord. This chanting of the divine name of the Lord is very, very important, especially in Kali Yuga. And especially in this time, there's nothing that destroys sin and purifies, nothing that brings peace and happiness as the divine name of the Lord. The reason being that Bhagavan Shri Krishna himself sits in the name. There is no difference between Shri Krishna, Bhagavan Shri Krishna and the name. And this is why it's so important for us to chant the divine name. So let us all chant the divine name of the Lord as we begin tonight's katha. Govinda, 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 Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Govinda, 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 Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Govinda, 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 Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Govinda, 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 Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Radhe 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 Govinda, Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda,
Radhe Govinda,
Radhe Govinda,
Radhe Govinda,
Radhe Govinda,
Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda.
Govinda, 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 Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Anashritaः karma phalam karyam karma karoti yah sa sannyasi sa yogi cha na niragnir na chakriyah. Govinda 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 Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Govinda, 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 Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda.
Oh Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda.
Govinda 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 Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Govinda, 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 Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Aruroksho Mune Yogam Karma Karanam Uchyate Yogascha Ruddhasya Tasya Shamaha Karanam Uchyate Yada Hinendriyartheshu Na Karmas Varshnujyate Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasi Yoga Rudhasya Dojyate. Govinda 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 Radhe Radhe Govinda. Oh
Govinda, 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 Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda.
Oh Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda.
Oh Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda.
Oh Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda.
Oh Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Govinda.
Oh Radhe Govinda.
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 Govinda 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 Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Govinda, 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 Radhe Radhe Govinda.
बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। भगवान श्री कृष्ण अर्जुन से कहते हैं कि हे अर्जुन, अनाश्रितः कर्म फलम कार्यम कर्म करोति यः स संन्यासी च योगी च न निरग्निर्न चाक्रियः न चाक्रियः। Chapter 6 verse 1 Gita. Bhagavan Krishna is saying, in the world, someone pretends to be a renunciate. I have given up everything. In order to do nothing. In other words, he's lazy. Alasya. I am a sannyasi. Wearing the clothes of a Babaji, a sannyasi. Lots, thousands and thousands. People wear the clothes. Yellow clothes, ochre clothes, orange clothes. With a stick. Because they're lazy. They don't want to work. So it's an easy way. In Hinduism, if someone is a sannyasi, a Baba, and comes to your home, begging, bhiksham dehi, bhiksham dehi. So, that householder, they think themselves to be very blessed, they will give something to eat. So in this way, they go begging, they eat, and then they go sit under a tree or some place in the railway station somewhere, eat, smoke some weed, sleep, enjoy life, lazy. And they call that sannyas. So Sri Krishna says one who externally stops performing action, bahari say, duties, not performing yagna, any kind of spiritual activity. I am sannyas. Only outwardly. But does not perform the duty, etc. Is a dambhi. Dambhi. In other words, fake, imposter. Just show. The real sannyasi, जो असली संन्यास है, the real renunciate, he is the real renunciate, and plus कर्म योगी also, जो अपने धर्म, अपने ड्यूटी करते हैं, लेकिन इसका फल नहीं मांगते, नहीं चाहते. The real sannyasi, the real, plus he is a real sannyasi, renunciate, plus karma yogi, the one who performs his duty as the best he can without expecting any fruits. Doesn't have desire. There's no desire for fruits. ऐसे करने से mostly we do, someone doing yajna, doing havan, puja, there is some desire to get something. If I do this puja, if I do Lakshmi puja, Ganesh puja, Hanuman puja, I will get a good job. I will be able to pass my exam. I'll get a good husband, a good wife, etc. In other words, some desire. I'll go to heaven. That's not bhakti. So the true renunciate, the true devotee, he performs all his duties. Every action he does. But no desire for the fruits of that. To the best of his mind being absorbed in Bhagwan all the time. ऐसे करते हैं. देखो, there's karma, akarma, vikarma. Three kinds of action. Karma, akarma, vikarma. Karma, one performs action, duties, Vedic rites and rituals, desiring some fruit to go to heaven, etc. Worldly things out, worldly fruits. This is karma, just karma. Vikarma means karma yoga. That person performs actions to the best of his ability, but with the mind absorbed in Bhagavan. In Gita, chapter 8, verse 7, Sri Krishna says, Tasma sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yudhya cha. This is karma yoga. Arjun. Tasmat sarveshu, at all place. Kaleshu, at all times. Mamanusmara. Attach your heart, your mind to me. Remember me. Think about me. Keep me in your mind. And you, Dhyachar, your Kshatri, your duty is to fight the war. Perform your duty. Do your duty in the world. With your mind attached to Bhagavan. So duty, karma, plus bhakti, mind attached to God, lovingly, that is bhakti. Karma plus bhakti, that is karma yoga. That's called vikarma also. And there is akarma. Akarma means a person does not perform his duty. He doesn't do his duties. Nor does he do bhakti. Nor does he love God, surrender to Bhagavan. Nor does he worship Bhagavan. No, that person is akarmi, and that person goes to hell, narak. So we have to do karma yoga. So this is what Bhagavan Krishna is making here very clear. Yam samnyasamiti prahu yogam tam vidhi pandava nahyasanyasta sankalpo yogi bhavati kashchana. Up here, what is called renunciate and what is called yoga. Yoga here means bhakti yoga. The true renunciate is a true bhakti yogi. Remember, I just told you in the first verse, the second verse. Attaching the mind to God. What does the meaning of yoga? This word yoga. Yoga means to join. When we join our heart with Bhagavan, our mind, our heart with Bhagavan, with Paramatma, that is called a yoga. This is the true meaning of the word yoga. Yoga doesn't mean exercise. A lot of people in the world, this thing is very prevalent today. Yoga. Everybody is doing yoga. Everybody wants to do yoga. People call themselves God among yogis in India. And all they're doing is physical exercise. Yoga means something else. Yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi is yoga. So what we call yoga in the world today is actually yogasan. Yam, niyam, asan. Asan. So yogasan. It's important. It's good. Keep the body fit. We should exercise. Eat properly. Eat the right food and exercise. Keep the body healthy. Tan binu bhajana veda nahi varana. As people say in the world, health is wealth. Huh? If you have health, you have everything. You could have billions and billions and you don't have health, you have nothing. Every day you run into doctor, hospital and still no cure. You can't eat this, you can't eat that. So keep the body healthy. Eat the right type of food. Don't eat all this junk and deep fry. Things that will destroy the body. Try to eat the right kind of food. And exercise. So, some kind of exercise, you either go to the gym, some people like running, and you don't want to do all of that, then do yoga asana. what we call yoga. So that keeps the body healthy. It's very important. But before asana, yam, niyam. It's very, very big meaning. A lot of rules. The essence of yam, niyam is complete control of the mind. First, control the mind, then asana. And that's why it is told in the age of Kali Yuga, no one can do yoga. In the Ramayana, Kak Basundaji says to Garuji, in the Kali Yuga Mahima of the Ramayana, Kali Yuga Jog na jag ज्ञाना एक आधार राम गुण गाना जय राम श्री राम
जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
Kali Yuga Jogana Jagya Jnana. This age we live is called Kali Yuga. Kag Basundaji is saying to Garuji Maharaj, hey Garud, in the age of Kali Yuga, no, these things you cannot do. Yog, Kali Yuga Yog, Yagya, Dharma, Jnana, the part of Gyan, knowledge. What to do? Ek Aadhar Ram Gun Gana. One thing, chant the name of the Lord. As we did in the beginning. Chant the name with love, with devotion. Meditating on the Lord. This is what we have to do in the Kali Yuga. So, the real renunciate is the one who is doing bhakti yoga, because the mind is detached. In order to practice bhakti yoga, we have to detach the mind from the world. We have one mind. Ek man hai. If our mind is attached to the world, then how can we attach it to Bhagwan? Shri Krishna says, Ma manusmara, attach your mind, your heart to me, to Shri Krishna. So if our mind is attached to the world, we're running after the world, then how can we attach it to Shri Krishna? So by practicing bhakti yoga, we're already detaching the mind from the world and attaching it to Bhagwan. That's the real renunciate. हे पांडु के पुत्र, ये भक्ति योग बनने का, भक्ति योग बनना है तो सब कामनाओं को छोड़ना है. O son of Pandu, Shri Krishna says, O Arjun, you want to become a bhakti yogi, you want to become a bhakti yogi, you want to become a devotee, you want to be a spiritual person, then you have to give up all desires, desires for the material world. Then this will happen. अब देखो एक और बात है. बहुत लोग ऐसा लगता है कि भक्ति करते हैं. lot of people seem to be worshiping God. When I say God, I don't only mean Krishna, Shiv, Ram. I mean any form of God. Khuda, Allah, Jehovah, whatever name you want to call him. God is one. Don't think the Muslims have a different God and the Christians have a different God and the Hindus have a different Bhagwan. So many different Bhagwan. This is our ignorance, our foolishness. One Bhagwan. Different name, that's all. And different way of worshiping. But one Bhagwan. Look, water, right? In English we say water. In Spanish we say agua. In Hindi we say jal. In Urdu we say pani. Somebody say, pani chahiye, give me pani. You know they want water. There's different name, but it's all water. In the same way, don't have this thing that so that because someone worshiping a different religion that he's worshiping a different form of Bhagwan. One Bhagwan. So in so many different ways we see people worshiping God. Whether we're Hindus, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Jain, whoever. But the majority of people, majority of us, whether we are going to the masjid, whether we are going to the mandir, whether we are going to the church, to the Gurudwara, when we pray to Bhagwan, what do we ask for? Majority of people, 99.99%. Hey Bhagwan, oh Khuda, oh Allah, oh Bhagwan, oh God, please let me get a good job. Please let me get a nice boy to get married. Let me get a nice girl to get married to. Let me win the lotto. Let me have health. We pray for the world. Why? Because the decision has come in the mind, I will find happiness in the world. Because of ignorance. Agyan. What is the ignorance? We have forgotten who we are. Bhul gaya ki main kaun hu. We have forgotten that we are the soul, the Atma. We identify with the physical, material body from big and endless time. This body belongs to us. We're not the body. When somebody dies, what do you say? Ramesh left the world at 4 o'clock this morning. Oh, Ramesh left the world. Then why is everybody going to see him? Oh, we're going to see his body, dead body. So do you know who is that who left the body? No, we don't know. And that's who we are. So it means that we are something else besides this body. That when someone dies, we leave that body. And that we have forgotten. That is called the soul, the Atma. Jivatma, many names. Oh, bhul gaya. So from beginningless time, we have identified with the body. And because of that, we have always been looking for happiness in the material world. Look, this body is material. It's made of 5 elements. Kshiti jala pavaka gagana samira panchara chitta yaha adhama sarira. This body is made of 5 elements. Earth, water, fire, air and space. The world we see around us is also made of the same 5 elements. Earth, water, fire, air and space. So the subject of the body is the world. This body needs the world to keep it strong, to keep it healthy. Body needs the world. So give the world to the body. But we are not the body, we are the soul, the Atma. And the Atma is a part, a fraction of God. Mamaevansho jivaloke jivabhutaha sanatanaha. Chapter 15, verse 7, Gita. Shri Krishna says, the Jivatma, the individual souls, are eternal parts, fraction of Him. You know, you read sometime that God made man in His own image. Man meaning human beings in His own image. Do you think God, so if He made human beings in His own image, you talking about the body? No, we're talking about the soul. God is not like this. This is a material thing. You see, the subtle knowledge we don't understand. So the soul, Atma, is divine. So the subject of the soul is divine, Bhagavan, God. We all want happiness. As I've keep mentioning, the reason being, be a fraction of happiness. Another name for God in the scriptures, Anando Brahmeti Vajanat. Taittiriya Upanishad chapter 3 verse 6. The Vedas say, Shri Krishna, God, Bhagavan, is happiness, bliss, Anand. Whether we say happiness or we say God, these are two names for the one and the same entity. So being eternal fractions, part of God, we all want only happiness. But because of that ignorance, because of having forgotten who we are, identifying with the material body, we have always been looking for happiness in the world. We have never found it. It's not there. You can't find it. And that's why when we pray, because that decision has become so firm in the mind, I will find happiness in the world. A new house, a new car, handsome boy, beautiful girl, good job, plenty money. I will find it. If I don't find today, I'll find tomorrow, but I will find it. That decision has become very firm. To change that is impossible for the worldly soul. This will only happen when we take shelter in a true saint, a true guru. And through his divine power, he is able to convince us, make that knowledge sit in our intellect. Hey, the happiness you're looking for, you will never find in the world, you will find only in Shri Krishna. Otherwise, we will keep looking for it and keep rotating in 8.4 million forms of life. So, that's why, yes, people say to me sometimes, Swamiji, people are so religious in this Kali Yuga. How many people are going to church and they are going to the masjid and they are going to mandir? People are so religious. They're religious, but not spiritual. There's a big difference between religious and spiritual. There's a saying, closer to the church and further from God. Doesn't mean everybody going to church, going to the masjid, going to mandir wants to know Bhagavan. No, they're thinking that when I go there, if I go there, I will get something in the world. Bhagavan will become pleased with me and he will give me more of the world. We don't want nothing with Bhagavan. Nobody really wants Bhagavan. We want what we think Bhagavan can give us. That's the whole problem. As long as we keep praying for the world, asking God for the world, that's not bhakti. That means we are ignorant, we are stupid, we are foolish. Up to now, the decision has not been, no one has been able to put that knowledge into our intellect, in our brain, in our intellect, that the happiness we are looking for we'll find only in God and Bhagavan. The day that knowledge comes into you, you will stop looking for happiness in the world. Then only you will become a bhakta, devotee. Then you will truly pray. Then you will know what it is to worship God and love God. Otherwise, we'll keep running after the world and we'll keep rotating in 8.4 million forms of life. We continue. Arurokshobha mune yogam karma karana muchyate yogarudhasya tasyaiva shamaha karana muchyate. अब जो भक्ति करते हैं, असली भक्ति. Now Shri Krishna is saying, the word mune here means a devotee. Arurokshoho. Arurokshoho, someone who is climbing to go up, like climbing on a ladder. So someone who is a beginner. Abhi shuruat hai. He's now entering the path. He's now going to enter to do bhakti, true devotion. For that person who is wishing to purify the heart, the mind, look, no matter what we do spiritually, it could be puja, it could be yagya, it could be havan, it could be taking the name of God on the rosary, on the bead, jap, as we say in Hinduism, namaz, whatever you do, the ultimate aim is to make the heart, the mind pure. Why? Bhagwan Shri Ram says to Sugriv in the Ramayana, Nirmal man jan so mohi pava, mohi kapat chal chidra na bhava. Jai Ram
Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Rama, Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama.
Bhagwan Shri Ram is saying to Sugriv in the Ramayana, Nirmal man jan so mohi pava, mohi kapat chal chidna bhava. Sugriv, only those who are pure in heart, pure mind, nirmal man, can know me, can know God, see God, attain God. He says, I cannot tolerate deception, deceit, fraud. You want to find Bhagavan, you want to see God, attain God, supreme happiness forever, then we have to make the heart, the mind pure. The Bible also says, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Pure heart, pure mind. So the aim of that beginner, the one who is wishing to make the heart, the mind pure, he must, Sri Krishna says, perform his duty. He must perform his duty in the way that's prescribed in the scriptures. In other words, not yearning for the fruits of the action. In a detached manner. Perform your duty. Don't leave your duty. Do your duty. Duty to wife, duty to husband, duty to parent, duty to child. Perform your duty in the world. But in a detached manner. A Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, everyone has their own duty, own dharma. Apna dharma karo. But in a detached manner. And doing this slowly, the heart, the mind will purify. अब जब yoga rudha, there's a point we reach where you become, so you start from, remember the first word, aruruksho. Aruruksho. This is one climbing, beginning, starting. And you practice until you become arudha. You become yoga rudha. In other words, you attain perfection. After attaining perfection, if that person stopped doing everything, then he is not wrong because he's attained everything. Now you cannot command him, hey, why don't you do bhakti? Why don't you sit down and do namaz? Why don't you pray to Bhagwan? Ab to ho gaya. Look, someone is going to university. While going to university, to college, you have to take attendance. You have to make sure that take attendance. Attend all the time. Get a certain percentage of attendance, etc. After you finish and you get your degree, does someone come and say, hey, How come you're not coming to university anymore? How come you're not taking attendance? But I've finished. Pass. I've already gotten my degree. Finish. In the same way, before attaining God realization, we have to go through all the steps. Do not look at someone who has attained everything already. Oh, I look at Guruji, I look at the saint, the true Guru, the true saint, and he doesn't look like he's doing any bhakti, any devotion. Then I want to follow him. Until you reach the position that person took to reach there, you cannot follow. Even in the world, it's very dangerous. The teacher comes in the class and he's teaching and tells the student, do this, do that. And he gives instruction to the student. The student thinks, I can also do that. So, let me come and be the teacher. The teacher says, okay. So the student goes and sits on the teacher's chair. And the teacher goes and sits on the student's chair. And so far, he's okay. But now the teacher decides, sir, I want to ask a question. What will happen to the student? Fail. Let's suppose there's a powerful wrestler. 300-pound wrestler. He goes to the circus and he sees a very skinny guy walking on a tight rope 100 feet above the ground. You know these people in the circus, they take a stick in their hand and they walk on a tight rope. So this 300-pound wrestler thinks, this skinny guy, he's showing off, I can do better than him. I'm powerful after all. So the wrestler goes home and he ties a rope 100 feet above the ground. He takes a ladder and he climbs up. And decides he's going to walk on this rope. When he reaches the top, so far he's successful. But the moment he steps on the rope, he's going to fall and break his neck. So in the world even, it's very dangerous to follow these people. This guy may be very skinny and thin, but for years and years he has practiced to reach the point where he can walk on the tightrope. So we should not desire to follow someone until we reach there. Many people say, I am a Shiv devotee. My Shiv Bhaktu. That's why I smoke a lot of weed, ganja, because I am a Shiv Bhakt. So you should ask that person, Bhaiya, Shivji, he drank halahal vish. When they were churning the ocean, Kshir Sagar, the first thing came out, halahal vish, poison. So dangerous, a tiny drop could destroy the whole universe. Shivji swallowed that and kept it in the throat. He got a new name, title, Neelakant. So, okay, you read that Shivji likes to drink bhang. He likes ganja, so you like ganja, you want it because you're a Shiv Bhakt. Drink some poison too, a little bit. No, you can't get halal, drink some gramazone. We want to follow. Oh, I'm a Krishna Bhakt. Bhagwan Krishna has 16,108 wife. I just have 10 girlfriend. Acha. Shri Krishna danced on Kaliya Nag. Such a dangerous snake. Thousands of hood. He danced on Kaliya Nag. You go and dance with a little cobra. So for, to practice to give into our weaknesses, we say, I'm this one can do and so I can do also. We give all this quotation. No. Follow the steps they took to reach there. So you have to climb the ladder. Right? And when he has attained perfection, now he doesn't have to do anymore because he attained it. Don't think you can also do the same thing. We have to follow the steps. We have to practice. That was chapter 6, verse 3. Yada hinendriyartheshu na karman nushajjate sarvasankalpa sannyasi yoga rudhasya dhochyate. So now that one who has attained that perfection, yoga rudha, that word came before also too. Yoga rudha. So he's attained that perfection. Such a person, what it is, how is he, that person? Jab wahan tak pahunch gaye, when he attains perfection, now it tells us such a person who is elevated in yoga, he's attained perfection, having renounced all material desires. Then he will attain there, then he will reach there. He no longer has desire for any person or any object, and he's completely bereft of all desires. He's become peaceful, calm. We wonder, what is the state? What does someone experience when he reaches a state of yoga rudha, complete perfection? Right now, think about what condition we are in. Little thing gets us angry. Eh? Somebody says something for your own benefit. Oh! Who are you to tell me anything? I mentioned, I was given in the katha last night, how dangerous anger is. Everything is destroyed. Bhagavan Krishna says, Krodhar bhavati sammoha, sammoha smriti vibrama, smriti banshad buddhinasha, buddhinashat pranashyati. Chapter 2, verse 63, Gita. From anger, when you get angry, look what happens. From anger comes delusion. From delusion, loss of memory. When we lose our memory, we lose the power to discriminate, and everything is destroyed. We become animals. Worse than animal. When someone gets angry, oh, Bhagwan. What they cannot do. Break the pot, break the wife head, break the children head. And afterwards you repent. But when you are angry, you don't think. The power to discriminate is gone. That's why anger. So think about it. When desires come, lust comes in the mind. You know it is wrong. But no matter what anyone, all the philosophy goes to the drain at that time. Greed, anger, jealousy, all these things, it destroys our peace, our happiness. I think a position now, a person who is free from all of that. No anger, no greed, no jealousy, no hate, nothing. That's the position of yoga rudha. It's a little example of what it is. At this point, so now chapter 6, verse 5. Let's go to verse 5. Udaret atmanatmanam natmanam vasadayet atmaiva hyatmano bandhu ratmaiva ripuratmanaha. This is a very important verse. Very important. Chapter 6, verse 5. This verse says, let a person uplift himself by himself. You see, we all think somebody should lift me up. Somebody is supposed to come and help me get better. Even if we meet the greatest saint in the world, in the universe, the greatest guru, most that guru can do is to tell us and instruct us what we have to do. He can guide us, show us the way, but he cannot do it for us. He cannot do sadhana for us. We have to do sadhana. My guru, Jagat Guru Tam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu, he would say, so many people would come to him. We lovingly call him Maharaji. Oh Maharaji, I will give you everything. I will give you, build in all his mandirs and all his hospitals and school. I will build it for you. I will give you everything. Just do one thing for me, Maharaji. Please do sadhana for me. It's so hard. And Maharaji would laugh. Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu would say, if any saint or Bhagwan could do sadhana for anyone, this world will no longer exist. Will no longer exist. Because all the saint will do, he will say to Bhagwan, Hey Shri Krishna, I have one desire. Hamari ek इच्छा hai. That the uncountable souls who are under the control of Maya and suffering in the uncountable solar systems, there are uncountable suns in this universe. In this little galaxy we live, which is called the Milky Way, there are thousands and thousands of suns. And every sun has a planet Earth, like we are living in, with human beings. So there are uncountable planet Earths with uncountable souls in the universe. The saint says, the uncountable souls in this huge universe who are under Maya and suffering. Freedom from Maya. My desire, my Lord, freedom from Maya, and give them divine bliss, divine happiness forever. Whatever a saint asks for, Shri Krishna has to give. Shri Krishna cannot refuse a saint. राम सदा सेवक रुचि राखी वेद पुराण साधु सुर साखी बोलो राम
राम राम राजा राम 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 बोलो राम 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 राजा राम राम राम
राम सदा सेवक रुचि राखी Veda Puran Sadhu Sur Sakhi. The Lord loves, He loves to fulfill the wishes of His true devotees, those who love Him. So God will not refuse the desire for saint. And so besides, He doesn't lose anything from granting such a wish. Bhagwan is such an entity. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Wait. That if you were to subtract infinite from Bhagwan, He remains infinite. He doesn't lose anything. And so the uncountable souls will become eternally free from Maya and eternally blissful forever. But Bhagwan is bounded by the law, the divine law. Mame vaye prapadyante maya metantarantite. Only the one who completely surrenders to Shri Krishna can become free from Maya. This is His divine law, chapter 7, verse 14, Gita. You have to completely surrender. Shri Krishna doesn't break His law for anyone. Divine law. So we have to do. Guru will show us, he will instruct us, the true Guru, the saint. How many people say, oh, Jagat Guru Tam Kripalu Mahaprabhu is my Guru. I love Maharaji. Are you following the instructions that Maharaji has given? No, I do whatever my mind says. Manamana. I don't follow anybody's instruction. I do whatever my mind says. And he's your Guru. How can he be Guru when you don't follow his instruction? Someone is Guru only when we follow his instruction. Then he is my Guru. Then we'll get benefit. Otherwise, nothing will happen. So, let a person uplift himself by himself, and let him not degrade himself. Let him not bring down himself. Yad gichecha bhavitum tadik bhavati purusha. Mahabharat. The scripture says, we human beings, it's in our hands whether we want to go up or we want to go down. Some of us, we do everything to destroy this human birth. Drink alcohol, you name it. This valuable human body that Devatas are praying for. Bare bhagya manusha tanu pava Sura durlabh sad grantha nigava. Bhagwan Shri Ram is saying to the residents of Ayodhya, Devatas, celestial gods, they're praying and begging for birth in the human form, but they can't get it. It is the greatest fortune for the soul that acquires birth in the human form. And when we get it, what do? We destroy it. We are bent on destroying it. So here, Shri Krishna is saying, let a person uplift himself. Do that which will uplift you. Do not perform actions that are going to degrade you, bring you down. And the whole thing about this is the mind. Here, the word Atmaiva, the word Atma is referring to the mind, the lower self. The mind. This mind can be our best friend, and this mind can be our worst enemy also. You know, my Guru Kripalu Mahaprabhu would always say, nobody can do you anything. Oh, we always like to blame this one and that one for things that happen to us in the world. This one is the cause and that one is the cause, and because we don't like to accept blame for ourselves. Our greatest enemy is this thing called the mind, and we listen to it all the time. Mind says do this, mind says do that, and we do. This mind is our biggest enemy. We can make it our best friend. Right now, it is because of this mind that we are rotating in 8.4 million forms of life. Because of this mind. Because we keep listening to it. Uncountable lifetimes, this mind has become very bad. Very, very bad. God has given us a powerful instrument called Buddhi. Buddhi, the intellect. Whatever the intellect say, the mind has to do. Has to. But the problem is, our intellect has gone bad also too. From uncountable lifetimes. So what should we do? If we are so fortunate to meet a true Guru, the true saint, the true Guru. In Gita, chapter 4, verse 34, Shri Krishna explains, he defines what a Guru is. Tad virpanipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshandi te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Chapter 4, verse 34, Gita. Shri Krishna says, he's defining who is a Guru. He puts two things, two qualities here that qualifies one to be Guru. Jnaninaha, number one. Jnaninaha, number two, Tattvadarshinaha. What does Jnaninaha means? Jnaninaha means one who has complete knowledge of all the scriptures. Complete knowledge. Not only Ramayana, not only Gita, not only Bhagavad, all the Vedas, all the Shastras. Complete knowledge plus, anybody can read book and give lecture. He's able to remove our doubts. This is the Kamal. This is the real magic. Just through His word, our doubts are clarified. His divine words. So number one, Tat Jnaninaha. But even more important, he is Tattvadarshinaha. Tattvadarshinaha means he has seen Krishna, seen God. He's attained a divine vision, divine bliss, divine knowledge of God. Only such a person is qualified to be Guru. Shri Krishna is saying, you can read it, chapter 4, verse 34, Gita. Of course, they're all kind of translation. So Shri Krishna says, if one is so fortunate to meet such a Guru who is qualified, Tattvadarsh, Jnaninaha plus Tattvadarshinaha, what should you do? Tadvirip pranipatena. Pranipat means complete surrender. Number one, completely surrender to Him. Pranipatena. Number two, pariprashnena. Acquire true knowledge from Him. Question Him. Get the true knowledge from Him. Listening to His divine philosophy, reading His divine books, etc. And number three, sevaya. Do His seva. Serve Him like you will serve Bhagwan Himself. He will give you divine knowledge of God. He will give you Bhagwan. When we meet such a Guru, if you're so fortunate, by grace of Bhagwan alone we can find such a Guru. You don't get Guru like that. Hanumanji says, Vibhishan says to Hanuman in the Ramayana, अब मोहि भरोस हनुमंता बिनु हरि कृपा मिलहि नहीं संता जय राम श्री
राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
बिनु सत्संग विवेक न होई राम कृपा बिनु सुलभ न सोई। बोलो जय राम
श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
Vibhishan is saying to Hanumanji, when Hanumanji met Vibhishan in Lanka, Vibhishan says, Aba mohi bha bharosa Hanumanta, binu hari kripa minahi nahi santa. O Hanumanji, I have full faith. Only because Shri Ram, Bhagwan Shri Ram showered His grace upon me, I am able to meet a saint, I am able to meet you, Hanuman, otherwise impossible. In the beginning of the Ramayana, Tulsidas ji also says, Binu Satsanga Viveka na hoi. Without the association of a true saint, Satsang means association with the true saint, the true guru, we cannot acquire true knowledge. And how are we going to get that association? Ram Kripa Binu Sulabhana Soi. Only when Bhagwan will shower his grace, we'll meet the saint. Otherwise, impossible. So if we are fortunate enough to meet such a guru or saint, what to do? We join our buddhi, our intellect, with his intellect. अपने बुद्धि गुरु की बुद्धि में जोड़ दो. Join our intellect with the intellect of Guru. In other words, let our intellect be governed by Guru's instruction, his knowledge. What instruction he has given to us, let our intellect be governed by that. And now the intellect is being governed by the instruction of Guru. Now it will be correct. Now the mind will have to go accordingly. That's why it's so important. Agya Palan. Agya Palan. Kripalu Mahaprabhu said, even if Guru has left the world, is not there physically, but you do Agya Palan, you follow the instructions of Guru, you still attain everything. But you have to do Agya Palan. Agya Samanasu Sahib Seva. Agya means the Guru's instruction, not doing what the mind says. Anyhow, so we have to make the mind, and so the mind will become our friend. A beautiful bhajan I'm going to sing now. This bhajan says, a person is saying, hey bhakt, hey devotee, O soul, look at the mirror of your mind. It is saying look at the face in the mirror, but actually it means look, because the mirror means the mind. See that mirror of your mind. Look in there and see how much good things you have done and how much wrong things you have done also. Nishpaksh. Without favoritism. Sit by yourself and look quietly. Look and see. Look at that mirror of the mind. Just take a little time. Palabhar. And think very carefully. Look at the story of your life, what you have done in this entire life. Try to see how much this body is like a sheet, the mind is a sheet, how much stains you have put in the sheet of the mind. How much stains you have put in that mirror of the mind has become so covered with dirt, impurities, sin, pap. Look at it carefully. Don't fool yourself. You know, we fool ourselves. I am great, man. Nobody better than me. Don't fool yourself. Don't deceive yourself. By doing all these acts of deception, you're not going to fool anybody and somebody going to say how good you are. You might think you're very good, but nobody will think how good you are. This kind of natak, this kind of acting in the world doesn't go forever. You know, there's a saying, the moon runs until daylight, catch up with it. One day everything will catch up with you. So be very careful. This thing does not work in this world. So we'll sing this beautiful bhajan. मुखरा देख ले प्राणी जरा दर्पण में, देख ले कितना पुण्य है कितना पाप तेरे जीवन में, देखते तुम्हें मुखरा देख ले प्राणी जरा दर्पण में, देख ले कितना पुण्य है कितना पाप तेरी जीवन में, देख दर्पण में मुखरा देख ले प्राणी। कभी तो पल भर सोच ले प्राणी, क्या है तेरा कर्म कहानी, कभी तो पल भर सोच ले प्राणी, क्या है तेरे कर्म कहानी, पल लगा पता लगाते पता लगाते पर है कितना दागते दामन में, देख दर्पण में मुखरा देख ले प्राणी जरा दर्पण में। खुद को धोखा दे मत बंदे, अच्छा न होते कपट के धंधे, खुद को धोखा दे मत बंदे, अच्छा न होते कपट के धंधे, सदा न चलता सदा न चलता किसी का नाटक दुनिया के आंगन में, देख दर्पण में मुखरा देख ले प्राणी जरा दर्पण में, देख ले कितना पुण्य है कितना पाप तेरी जीवन में, देख दर्पण में मुखरा देख ले प्राणी जरा दर्पण में। बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। We should take some time, look carefully, not in a favoritism way. Be honest, look carefully. Don't look at anybody else. You know, we have this nature, we can see how bad everybody is. It's easy to find faults in others. Last night I was in the Katha saying how dangerous it is, this fault find in Paradosh. That my Guru Kripalu Mahaprabhu would say, if someone starts finding faults, talking negative about someone to you, You should run away from that place, that person, like a cobra snake is about to tackle you, to bite you. So dangerous. Why is it so dangerous? One, our mind is already so faulty, we are so bad. The mere fact that we are finding faults is proof how faulty we are. And not only that, when we find the faults with others, we already have so much faults, we keep adding more. When you look for bad things, you bring bad inside of you. When you look for good things, you bring good. Someone says, I can't help but find faults. Then my guru would say, then look at ourselves. Look at your own self. We have so much. While we are under Maya, there's no less of faults inside of us. Look at our own faults and try to fix ourselves. Don't try to fix anybody. Don't try to fix anybody. So we have to make this mind our friend. So Shri Krishna says, Bandhuratmatmanastasya yenatmaivatmana jitah anatmanastu shatrutve varte tvatmaiva shatruvat. Chapter 6, verse 6, Gita. Arjun, everything depends on the mind alone. Mind. Everything is the mind. The soul, the Atma who we are, is a non-doer. The soul doesn't do anything. वो कुछ करते ही नहीं. The performer of the actions, everything we do is the mind alone. Mana eva manushyanam karnam bandha mokshayoho. Brahma Bindu Upanishad, second mantra. The Vedas say, man ev, man the mind, ev alone. Manushyanam, human beings. Karnam is the cause, bandhan of bondage, moksha, liberation. The mind, man ev, alone, the mind alone is the cause of bondage as well as liberation. This mind will take us to hell, this mind will take us to heaven, this mind will take us to Bhagavan. This mind will make us rotate in the 8.4 million forms of life. 8.4 million forms. All the responsibility lies with the mind alone. So Shri Krishna says, Arjun, conquer the mind. Through sadhana. Guru will give the instruction how to do sadhana. We have to do sadhana. Meditate on God, sit quietly. Go to a true guru, saint, to someone who has gotten instructions from the guru how to teach. The guru has authorized certain people to teach. Not everybody can teach. Everybody think they can. Sab Mahapurush ho gaya. No, don't go to everyone. He, she or she is going to tell you what they think. But they will not authorize. Guru authorizes certain people. Go to that person. Let them teach you, let them show you how to do sadhana, how to do devotion. So through that, you'll be able to conquer the mind. The person who has conquered the mind becomes your best friend now. Ab bandhu ban gaya, bandhu ho gaya. Bandhu means friend. Shatru means enemy. So both things have been mentioned in this verse from the Gita. Bandhu as well as Shatru. So for the one who has been able to conquer the mind through bhakti, by doing bhakti and through the help of the grace of a true guru, the true saint, that mind becomes the best friend. But for one who has failed to do so, the mind will remain the greatest enemy. All of us who have not been able to conquer the mind, we keep listening, run after the mind, the desires, etc. This mind is our greatest enemy. We have to learn how to conquer the mind. And the only way to do that is through bhakti, through devotion. We have to do bhakti. There's much more devotees, but my bhaiya, Ramu bhaiya, had said to me that he wants me to finish on time. He doesn't want anybody quarrel with him afterwards, that they have to work tomorrow, and the Swami went on and on and on. So I will finish the katha here tonight, that nobody will quarrel with our bhaiya, Ramu bhaiya. Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय. जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे.